Hello, Ellen, and welcome to all the folks listening in over the airways of WPAQ, the voice of the Blue Ridge since 1948. And welcome here to the folks with us in the theater for this Candidates Forum, actually the Meet the Candidates Forum. I'm Jeannie Lowry, host of the Saturday Morning Merry-Go-Round on WPAQ, which we broadcast live here from the Earl Theater each and every Saturday. So it's my pleasure right now to welcome your host for tonight's event from the Greater Mount Airy Chamber of Commerce, Randy Collins.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. It's always a pleasure to be at the Earl. It's a great facility in our great community. On behalf of the Chamber, our Board of Directors, we welcome each of you here tonight. Our co-host, Mount Airy Downtown, who also is part of our great community here. We know that in every year or every couple of years, an election comes around, and we know we pray for that there are people that run for office, because we believe in this system of government that we have. It works well. And before you tonight, you see up here on the stage, the 13, I think I have that right. Is that number correct? Of the people that are running for office in the City of Mount Airy. And we welcome all of them here tonight. This is also playing out on the radio, WPAQ, to all the people listening on the radio, thank you. Both organizations, Mount Airy Downtown and the Chamber, believe in being an advocate for our supporters, our members. We watch the public agenda, we take positions when we feel necessary, and we speak out on the issues of the day. It may not be every issue, but certainly for the ones that affect our community. So the format tonight is going to be a little different than maybe what you've been to in the past, and our moderator will explain that a little bit more to you. But the real purpose here tonight is to encourage you, to encourage others to register and vote and get involved in this election. We have a primary on May the 17th. And our greatest hope is that people will learn about these people who are running, go to the ballot box and make their selection. Folks, if you're listening on the radio or you're here tonight and you say, well, I don't vote, I'm not involved, we would say, think about that and get involved, because it's the right thing to do. And I, for one, applaud all of these people that have the courage to stand up and say, I will run for an office. So thanks to everybody for being here tonight. And I'm going to turn it over to the moderator. He's no stranger to Mount Airy, and a great business person, friend of the Chamber, and a friend of our community. And please welcome with me Greg Perkins.
I'm waiting for you to get to the bottom. Okay, safe. First, a few housekeeping rules. I'll explain sort of how everything will work. We'll go in order of office. We'll have the candidates for each office. We'll fill these chairs in the front. One at a time, they'll be given 4 minutes to clarify their positions, their qualifications, and their vision for Mount Airy. They will have 4 minutes. They will be given a signal when they have reached 3 minutes, and then I will tap them on the shoulder at 4 minutes, which means they've hit their limit. We ask that you hold applause until the beginning as each candidate's introduced. You may applaud when they finish, but please refrain from any other noise, and please be respectful of all candidates that we have here tonight. And so we will get started with the candidates for mayor. I'm going to ask you folks to come up and fill these seats in the front. And our first candidate for mayor is Mr. John Cawley.
Thank you. I'm running for mayor of Mount Airy, and some resume stuff about me. I went to college, graduate school, doctoral work, did all of that, and that is not really important. What's important is what people have learned along the way. My mom, who did not finish high school, was sitting out at Flat Rock one day in the church parsonage after I had said something ugly to her, and she said to me, didn't you ever learn to treat people better in all your years of education? And I said, well, you're the one who always taught me to be honest. And guess what Mom said? She said, well, then I was wrong. That shocked me, because she had preached my whole life, be honest, don't steal, thief and liar and all that go together. And I said, well, you're the one who told me to be honest. And she said, without a high school education, didn't anybody ever teach you in all your years of education that honesty without compassion is arrogant? And that's still, today, probably the most profound thing I've ever heard. Lots of people are arrogant, and it's not the unpardonable sin, right? But who wants to be arrogant? So as we are being honest, we also have to be compassionate. I have been parts of teams all my life, which is what I consider what we do at Mount Airy City. It's a team. I don't always win. I've been on some successful teams, been parts of teams that did very good. Got to play in the College World Series, won a state championship in high school in Tennessee, did some things that were fun, been on some teams that underperformed. And I look at our board of commissioners right now, and I can say that's the same thing. We succeed sometimes and do very well, and other times we fail. I'll get to that at the very end. When I decided to run for mayor, it was after Mayor Rowe resigned. It was actually the same day he resigned. If you've known me, you've heard me say in the past, didn't want to be mayor. I like the ability to vote. Well, between God and me, we had a moment, and he said, you need to run. I don't want to use that. I did not get any confirmation that I was going to win, okay? It's just God said, this is what I want you to do, because somebody needs to tell the story. What story? The story of Mount Airy. That's what I think the mayor's job is to tell the story to people who might have jobs to bring to town, to people who might be able to bring a business here that would use water, to people who live here right now who do not know that to be comfortable here, there should be a desire for you to be productive. I think all of those stories have to be told. I grew up telling stories of my family, and perhaps you did yours. I'm very excited about what we've done under my 14 and a half years as a commissioner. Most of them are very good. If you want to know what I'm against, look at the record. I will tell you this. Thursday night, I thought we made a terrible mistake. Thursday night, we voted in an ordinance that allows us to knock out a wall down here at Uncorked and start allowing people to sit out in the plaza, the Jack Loftus Plaza. And I have no idea if their family was involved or asked or anything else, or his family was. But that was a bad decision. That's going to become a beer and wine garden when it's been known for years as Mayberry end of town. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Colley. Our next candidate is Mrs. Theresa Lewis.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellow candidates, members of the media. For over 50 years, I have lived in Mount Airy, and my family has lived here for generations. The 12 years I was away was due to my father's 20-year career in the United States Air Force. In 1987, I founded Surrey Temporary Services, now Workforce Unlimited. Because my furniture had not been delivered, I sat on the floor with an IBM Selectric typewriter, a telephone, and a telephone book, and called and typed letters to businesses. Later, we formed our executive search firm, the Arevo Group, and we have placed hundreds of executives in the United States as well as internationally. Currently, we employ 10,000 individuals in 3 states, and I have met a payroll every week for 35 years. Also, I have proven my leadership by chairing many local boards, including the Mount Airy Chamber of Commerce, receiving the prestigious Citizen of the Year Award. I was the first female president of Rotary and served on that board. I chaired the United Fund and went over the goal, as I did with all charity fundraisers. Over the years, I collaborated with government, business owners, and charities to raise millions of dollars for the Reeves Community Center indoor pool, the museum, Friends of Scouting, Surrey Arts Council, Surrey Community College, Surrey Economic Development, Woltz and Yadkin Hospice Homes, and Northern Regional Hospital, local schools, and many others. Team leadership is one of my strengths. My government experience includes current service on the Northern Hospital Board of Trustees. Also, I served 2 years on the Mount Airy City Council as Commissioner at Large, filling the 2-year unexpired term of Deborah Cochran. We voted for a lower tax rate of 48 cents per $100 compared to the current 60-cent rate. Additionally, I was the deciding vote on recycling. It is easy to find great things about the city and the people I love. It is such a pleasure to ride around and see our beautiful landscaping, flowers, the cleanliness of our town, excellent schools, and amazing protection by our police and fire departments. These city employees are also a tremendous asset to our community. This is an incredible place to live, work, and raise a family. Improvements could be made by lowering taxes and lowering expenses so as not to have a decline in service. The aging water and sewer lines have been an issue for 30 years, possibly longer. Affordable housing needs to be added in order to accommodate our growing population. Economic development and downtown improvements should be continued. Also, I would like to continue the excellent work of our current mayor, Ron Nyland, and the city council. If elected mayor of Mount Airy, I will be an agent of change and will work hard to remedy the challenges we face. Thank you for your kind attention, and thank you, Randy Collins and Lizzie Morrison, for organizing tonight's forum. Your vote on May 17th for Theresa Lewis for mayor will be truly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Our last candidate in the mayor race is current Mayor Ron Nyland.
I am excited being your mayor and enthusiastic about what great things are becoming a reality in our city. I began my time as mayor by thinking about what was possible for our community and its people. I started by asking what we could become. I created vision committees that took that task to heart. I asked each committee to think big. They did, and we are. I asked young professionals to step up and join this process, and they met the challenge with flying colors. My hope was to develop a new group of leaders to step up in serving our city. They have in many areas, and here are just some examples. Holly Nolan, MAD and Board of Adjustments. Randy Plitt, Board of Adjustments. Nathan Bond, Market Street Ambassador. Will Fitzner, Surrey Entrepreneurs. Lenise Lynch, Housing Authority Board. Theresa, Leyva, Tanda Phillips, and Chad Hutchins are seeking public office. Ben Webb and Andre Nance served on the planning committees for the vision committees. This generation of leaders will serve us well. Our future is bright. We need to work on how to communicate with the public and stakeholders. We have created a new website and a public information officer. This will enhance that effort. With greater emphasis on social media and innovative use of technology, we can reach out and inform the public even better. We have a great story to tell. I have spent the last year trying to encourage our board and staff to work together in creating a shared vision, that of a better Mount Airy. We have a grant from the Golden Leaf Foundation to explore new pad sites and shell buildings. This will allow us to be prepared for the industrial growth expected due to the state's mega site. We must address the need for housing. Working with developers and builders, we will meet that challenge. My years of working in local government has allowed me to hit the ground running and see best practices of other cities. We are making progress in efficiencies that will allow us to continue to provide quality service at good value. This needs to continue. Improvements in equipment and facilities has put us on a solid foundation to continue the high level of service that we have become accustomed to. I have been forging relationships with the county and state, this resulting in partnerships that are benefiting our community today. Our investment in our city core is paying dividends. A new hotel, restaurants, and outdoor spaces are the result of this vision. Market Street and downtown housing are vital cogs as economic development drivers in our community. It attracts projects that enhance quality of life. Our business leaders have indicated this in meetings they've attended over the past several months. These amenities attract the national talent these companies recruit from. I have a passion for service and treating others with respect. I want to inspire others in seeing that serving their community is both worthy and, yes, fun. We need to encourage each other. This will create connections that will lead to innovation and quality growth. I truly enjoy representing this great city. It has been the greatest pleasure to meet and talk with our fellow citizens, exploring ways of an even brighter future. I have the energy and drive to tell our story, a great story, of good people who represent the values of Mayberry. We have much to look forward to. Stay engaged, be enthusiastic as we continue our journey together. I really don't enjoy campaigning that much. However, I love the part of meeting people, solving problems, and sharing our love for Mount Airy. I have been given the great honor of serving as your mayor. My hope is that you will give me the privilege of continuing in that role. Thank you.
Thank you, mayoral candidates. If you will return to your seats, and then we'll bring up the candidates for North Ward Commissioner. Our first candidate for the North Ward seat is Chad Hutchins.
Thank you. I'm running for city commissioner because of the great citizens of Mount Airy. The great citizens of Mount Airy have made a difference in my own life. And I know that we can continue to make a difference in thousands of citizens' lives in our community. As a public servant, I've had the opportunity to help and to influence the lives of citizens that we so gratefully serve. I will continue to bring my passion and experience to help thousands more within our great community. Through my education and life experience as a law enforcement officer and community volunteer, I have developed many useful skills. I understand that there are different perspectives on issues that the city will deal with, from regulations to how money is spent. I have experience ranging from policy regulations to strategic planning. I have a positive track record in leadership as both a volunteer and a paid public professional. I've always been focused on those that we serve and their families. I will always strive to represent the public's best interest, and I am committed to that priority. I truly love Mount Airy. I have a deep appreciation for its beauty, charm, history, award-winning schools, and all of our city activities and events. I've been an active member in our community through volunteer public service and serving as a law enforcement professional. I've been involved with the Mount Airy Rescue Squad for the past 27 years, where I've served as a member, the chief, and I'm currently a board member. I've worked with various other emergency services organizations within our community. I've been a Mount Airy police officer, Currently, I have the confidence and support of our great Sheriff Steve Hyde, while serving as a sergeant with the Surry County Sheriff's Office, supervising our school resource officers and DARE Division. I've served on numerous service organizations such as the North Carolina High School Athletic Association, the Boy Scouts of America, of which, yes, I am an Eagle Scout, and the North Carolina Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. I'm also a recipient of the National Jefferson Award for my contributions through public and volunteer community service. I'm seeking this office because I have a passion for helping others, and I was raised to believe that community service is a noble exercise of our freedom. However, I also believe that community service must be done for the right reasons. Community service should be viewed as a personal commitment to better our community, not as a means of personal gratification. Educated in public administration, I understand the policies facing our city. As a public employee myself, I also understand the challenges of providing superior public service. With these skills, I will work to gain your support as your next city commissioner. I am hopeful that the economy of North Carolina will continue in the near future. I am challenged with the opportunity for me to serve in this capacity, keeping our city financially strong while providing for the established city priorities of public safety, a positive community appearance, activities, and recreational opportunities. If I'm elected, I promise to work to grow our community while preserving our small town charisma. I will promote Mount Airy and our city merchants, balance business development with quality of life. We need a citizens-driven approach. Citizens should be at the forefront as they best understand our city dynamics, cultures, and history. We need to have citizens involved in identifying issues and measuring performances. We should be encouraging citizen participation and working to develop partnerships among our citizens. The bottom line is I care about Mount Airy and I care about working hard for you. The issues are important to you or the issues important to me. Over the coming weeks, I look forward to meeting each of you. I would appreciate your vote on May 17th.
Our next North Ward candidate is Theresa Davis Leyva.
Good evening. My name is Theresa Leyva, and I'm the candidate. I'm one of the candidates running for the North Ward seat for City Commissioner. My husband Carlos and I have two children, Alex, who's 14, and Sylvia, who will be 11 on Wednesday. My roots run deep here in Mount Airy. My paternal grandparents were merchants who owned and operated Davis Shoe Store not far from here on Main Street. And my maternal grandparents were both public educators for the Surry County school system. My parents are Joe and Betsy Davis, a retired state trooper and a retired educator for Mount Airy City Schools. Following in their footsteps of service, I currently work for Mount Airy City Schools as a high-risk youth advocate. I may be young, and I may have young children, but I'm not really that young. I'm just kind of small. But don't let my size or my age fool you, because at 37, service is not new to me. I am the current president of the Redemption House of Surry, the only long-term men's recovery housing center here in Surry County, and I'm a proud board member over the Shepherd's House and Helping Hands Foundation. My husband and I foster for Surry Animal Rescue and have loved over 150 animals that have come through our home. I'm the advisor for the Interact Club at Mount Airy High School, which focuses on service above self. We work to help the next generation grow into active and caring community members. I'm also a former school board member for Mount Airy City Schools. During my tenure, I was able to gain experience with balancing large budgets and creating programs that will benefit future generations. Overseeing an entire school system is a group effort. In leadership, it is important to be able to communicate, to work alongside others, and to remain solely focused on the needs of those we serve. In 2020, I began watching city commissioners' meetings online, and I heard the call to serve on the vision committees formed by Mayor Nyland. I asked to volunteer for the community outreach, but Mayor Nyland put me on community downtown development. And at first, I have to admit, I hesitated. My area of expertise so far had been in education, philanthropy, and community outreach. I am thankful though, because I had the opportunity to learn more about the work, growth, and goals of the downtown district. It gave me a more well-rounded perspective of our community and sparked a desire to expand my efforts to support the businesses and the people of Mount Airy. When I was growing up in our beautiful town, I, like many others, left when I graduated, partially because of the lack of activities for young people and families. Since returning, I see that much has been accomplished successfully. The museums are thriving, the greenway trails have expanded, the amphitheater and live music around town provides more nightlife, Market Street has been restored, many parks and rec programs for families and adults have grown, and many new businesses have opened, all improving the quality of life in Mount Airy. I hope to see more activities for families in the future. Mount Airy needs to focus more on economic development, in my opinion. We should actively be working to retain more of the younger population who tend to graduate and move away like I did. What future do we have if the young people don't want to stay here? We should be working to recruit businesses to come here, and I don't necessarily mean with financial incentives, but through improving and promoting our quality of life amenities and providing necessary infrastructure. In closing, I may have a servant's heart, but I also have a leader's conviction to do what is fair and balanced. If I am able to be commissioner, I would listen to all citizens and focus my efforts on continuing to cultivate a wholesome and well-rounded environment in this lovely city we are fortunate to call home. Thank you.
Our next North Ward candidate will be John Pritchard.
Good evening. I'm John Pritchard. I'm running for commissioner. I wanted to make my intro kind of like that famous guy come out and say, hey, hello, I'm Johnny Cash, but I don't have the hair for it. You know, we've seen lots of changes over the past few years. More will come. And we should think about the best changes for us. That leads to my question for tonight. What about us? So let's talk about us. Downtown is the envy of others. Many thanks to Phillip Reeve's generation for starting it all. Our unique tourism has kept us going through tough spells. Major city spending over the last 9 years has created improvements downtown that should repay over time. That's a big kickstart, and that, plus some things in progress right now, means we can take off the training wheels and let private developers' money take over from now. So what about us? I vote we turn attention to other areas of town. Even the best managed towns' expenses increase over time. Meanwhile, our population is the same as 2010. Higher operating costs with standstill population means citizens will pay more unless we grow. Tourism is frosting on the cake, and the foundation is the cake itself, meaning real jobs. So what about us? I vote we grow to stay healthy. Solid, real jobs give our young people the confidence and security to marry, buy a home, raise a family. That keeps young people here and attracts new people here. What about us? I vote to go all out for new full-time jobs. Macy's is building a distribution center in China Grove with 2,800 new jobs. In the year before COVID, there were 157 new announcements in this state with 20,000 new jobs. 70% of that went to small towns and rural areas. Should have been us, but it wasn't. Attracting new companies is clearly possible for towns like us, and they don't have to be textiles or furniture. Then what about us? I vote we get our share of those things. Some say we don't have suitable buildings. I say look what's been done already with older buildings, plus some imagination. Others say we don't have enough workforce. I say head to Winston around 7 a.m. any morning, and our workforce is leaving town for their jobs. I want good jobs here so our people won't need to commute, and others will commute here and move here. With lots of surplus city water, offering new businesses deep discounts or even free. City owns about 1,000 acres of land. Some of it is suitable for new business. Offer some deals. Our school system is strong, as is our community college. Cost of living is moderate. Our quality of life is tops. I vote we make it job one to show the world what we have. Now, what about me? I'm a retired commercial banker, lived here 30 years, Hometown Henderson, college at ECU, banker in 5 towns before here, married to high school girlfriend, 2 grown daughters, 4 grandkids. I've attended most city meetings for many years. I've learned a great deal. I understand city policies and procedures. I know past and current issues. I know Mount Airy. I know the city budget and I know business. Priorities, solid full-time jobs to grow the city, fairness and openness with all citizens, good stewardship of taxpayer money to lower taxes. I've spent years standing up for the silent majority, and I've talked with lots of them recently. Many already knew me. Now I'm asking them to stand up for me at the primary polls on May 17th. And that's what about us, and that's what about me. Thank you.
And our last North Ward candidate is Joanna Revem.
Yes, I am Joanna Revem, and I'm happy to be here along with the other candidates who are very impressive. My family and I moved here in 1996 and have been here ever since, apart from a short hiatus to Florence, South Carolina. I've been married for 43 years to Dr. Bill Revem. I have 5 children, 3 son-in-laws, 1 son-in-law on deck. I have 6 and a half grandchildren, with number 7 due in August. I'm a busy Nana, and I'm proud of it. The other thing about me that many people don't know is I'm also a first-generation immigrant from England. I am a naturalized citizen. I went through that whole process. I have a big passion for people who have been through that process, people trying to transition and have the amazing opportunity to vote. I'm also a licensed school counselor since 1999 and a licensed professional counselor, now called licensed clinical mental health counselor. They changed our name for some reason, since 2001. I worked for 10 years for Mount Airy City Schools and ran a private practice for a number of years, and since 2013 I've been doing a variety of part-time jobs and right now work part-time back at the city schools. They asked us to talk about a platform that we had, and really my whole goal in deciding to run for office was to be available to serve. I feel like I've lived here excuse me, for a long time. I feel like Mount Airy's been good to my family, and it was time to give back. Because of my profession, I feel like one of the best strengths I can offer is the ability to listen. And so that's what I intend to do. I have been working my way through some of the main leaders and organizers in this community in the last few weeks, and I'm learning a lot, and that's what I intend to continue to do. I think our community offers a wonderful way of life, and this community has survived through many transitions, both economically and otherwise. And I think it's very important as a city commissioner to promote the involvement of our citizens. Like I said, I didn't always have the ability to vote, so I think especially promoting our ability to vote and have a say in what's going on is really vital, and because of my background, that's a real passion of mine. They asked us to talk about what is going right in the community. I think Mount Airy has a wonderful identity. I noticed that when we first moved here, when we were being recruited by Northern Hospital, I was like, wow, this is small town America, and I was really charmed by that. I was talking to one of our community leaders, and we were talking about what makes a strong community, and he pointed out to me that it's like a 4-legged stool. I had to email him again because I forgot what one of the legs were, but now I know what they are. The first one, I know, just being honest there. First one is education, and I want you to know, as a former Mount Airy City employee, city schools employee, we have a very strong school district, and I met with Dr. Morrison last week, and we were talking about all the great things the city is doing. Healthcare, I have a husband who's worked for the healthcare system here. I think we offer a lot locally. It's a locally owned hospital, and that's great. I can't believe I only have 1 minute left. I'm kind of a chatterbox, as you noticed. And I think, so the other 2 parts, so it's education, healthcare, business. We have a strong business community, and government, which I'm learning about. I feel like I'm definitely on the learning curve with that. I would say we're doing a lot of things well. I think, like other people have already said, housing is a concern, safety is a concern, keeping crime and drugs under watch is a great thing that Chief Watson and his crew are doing. But really I wanted to say that my main goal is, what do you care about? what keeps you up at night? What are the concerns that you have? And as a commissioner, I pledge to be available for you, to listen to you well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, North Ward candidates. If you will take your seats in the back, we will ask the South Ward candidates to come up. Our first candidate will be Jean Clark.
Good evening. I'm Gene Clark, and I'm running for the South Ward seat as Commissioner of Mount Airy. As far as my background and experience, I've had 40 years of successful business management, and actually 30 of that's been here in Mount Airy. I've had leadership roles in our business, in our church, and in the Kiwanis clubs in the previous areas I've been. I've been fortunate to have two great sons, Tyler, who is a U.S. Marine, and I also have Taylor, which many of you know from the White Elephant Beer Brewery down on Market Street. So I've been blessed with that, and I'm very happy for that. Over the years, I've successfully organized and led the Citizens for Transparency. That was an organization we had during the Barter and the additional Spencer development. And I've invested in Mount Airy over the years, over the last 15 years. Several years ago, we purchased the Spencer's box plant, and it was closed. It had gone out of business due to the textile situation. And we brought in several tenants to that property, and now we actually sold that property to a woodshed manufacturer and a truck alignment service that provides 15 jobs to the city of Mount Airy. Second, we also invested in the Renfro Barber plant, which is right at the end of Main Street. It sat idle for 20 years. We had no public assistance, no fanfare. It was done with complete private investment. We improved the property and currently have over 100 jobs for the city of Mount Airy. And that ain't peanuts, guys. You know, I think political backgrounds matter. I know this is a nonpartisan race, but I am a conservative Republican. I'm fiscally responsible and support small government. I also want open, transparent government. As many of you know, I've ran several times, and I'm very passionate about the way the process works. I think how we do things is as important as what we do. I'm not against a lot of the things that people think I'm against. What I am against is the process that we do use to make things happen. We need to be open with the public and honest, and work to develop an honest, open communication with the voters. I would take a fiscal responsible approach to the city management. I'd also work to develop more better paying jobs, and as I mentioned, engage in honest, open communication with the voters. Excuse me, I'm back in my sales mode. I'd also eliminate wasteful spending and some of the boondoggles that we've had over the last few years, and most importantly, protect the private rights of property owners. I think Mount Airy is on the right path in several areas. It has a rich history based in manufacturing, furniture, textiles, tourism, Mayberry, Donna Fargo, Easter Brothers, bluegrass music, etc. As Joanna just mentioned, we have a strong school system in Mount Airy and Surrey County. Another thing I think that we need to take advantage of as a city is we are centrally located on the East Coast. I think if you'll measure, we are almost in the center between New England and Florida. And we have good highway systems, and we could actually use that to entice companies to come to Mount Airy. Where I think we need help a little bit, we need a change. I said, you look up here, the number of candidates we have in this election indicates that we need a change. We've got 13 candidates for 3 seats. Quite honestly, the status quo has got to go. We need fresh, transparent approaches. We also have a little excessive spending problem for a small town. Just last Thursday, we brought in the Asheville law firm for 6 properties to work on foreclosures. Why not test one property and then see how that goes? Because if you don't, then it's going to be hard to control cost. Where's the value proposition in that? Last, we need to get out of the real estate development business. We don't have a sense of urgency since it's not private investment. There's nothing to lose. We need to quit using taxpayers' dollars to speculate. And we also need to be transparent about our intentions. A prime example is there's a lot on Franklin Street that the city was attempting to purchase recently. At the end of this, I just want to thank you. I appreciate your opportunity, and I look forward to becoming your commissioner, and please, I appreciate your vote on May the 17th.
Our next South Ward candidate is Phillip Thacker.
Good evening. My name is Phillip Thacker, and I'm candidate at the South Ward for Mount Airy City Commissioner. I would like to say thank you to our sponsors for hosting this event and giving us the opportunity to speak. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm married to my wife, Nancy, of 48 years. We have 2 children, and we've been blessed with 3 beautiful grandchildren. I was born and raised in Mount Airy, and I've been fortunate enough to have the opportunity to work here in Mount Airy for 46 years. My career began at Quality Meals, where I worked at 12 years. Then I moved to Renfro Corporation and worked there for 34 years, finishing my career as manager of engineering. I'm now retired, so I have the time to serve the community. I was a member of the Mount Airy City Planning Board for 3 years. Previously a member of the Mount Airy City Board of Education for 23 years. Current board member of the Mount Airy City School Educational Foundation. I'm the treasurer of our church and trustee. So what's my platform? I'm a conservative, especially when it comes to money. I think that we need to seek opportunities to establish new jobs. I think we need to continue the board's current projects, have good communications with our community and with members of the board. And I want to be a positive influence to the board and to the community. Now, what ways are Mount Airy on the right path? Well, I got a little bit more specific than some. I said that the grant that we had secured to extend the greenway shows that we have an improvement happening in the community. There's a master plan to improve downtown, which includes a safer downtown. A fire truck was purchased to replace an older model, which shows that we're making an effort to upgrade our equipment. And an automated trash truck to purchase to reduce the cost and improve safety. This will keep Mount Airy on the right path, making decisions like that. Now, which way is Mount Airy on the wrong path? Well, in asking questions of different people, I've heard different opinions, of course. Top of the list, of course, is we need to reduce taxes. We need to spend money more wisely. And we need to spend less money on land. But my opinion is that until you actually have all the facts, I'm afraid to judge these answers at this time. But I will say this, if I am told of a concern about an issue, I will do my best to take that under consideration when discussing or voting on that issue. You need to have the facts and opinions to make a wise decision on what is best for our community. And in closing, let me just say that I am blessed by living in Mount Airy. I've grown up in a town that cares about people. So thank you for the opportunity, and please consider me when you go to vote. Thank you.
Our final South Ward candidate is Joe Zalesik.
Good evening, Mount Airy. 6 months ago, I took an oath of office at City Hall to be sworn in as a city commissioner. So what did the city commissioners get when they swore in a guy from New Jersey that only had been here for not even 3 years? I wasn't born in Mount Airy, but my wife Amy and I got married here. And what I brought with me, and some people would say it's baggage, but it's not. It's 35 years of elected or appointed public service with local government. I have done 30 budgets, done numerous federal grants, purchased fire apparatus, hired employees,
fired employees, dealt with unions, dealt with civil service, all of the details of a local government. I have that experience. I spent a year on the planning board. How did I get on the planning board? A new resident of Mount Airy. Well, I sent a letter to Mayor Rowe, and 2 months later, an opening came up and I served on the planning board. Really enjoyed the service. Again, another oath of office. And I take my oath of office very seriously. When I see injustice, I act and I get my facts straight. When the Surrey County Board of Elections tried to take away your early voting rights for this primary, Joe Zalesik sounded the alarm, contacted the media, called the mayor right away after I sat in a meeting for 3 hours listening to bogus arguments about eliminating early voting in Mount Airy, Pilot Mountain, and Elkin. Crazy. So 39 people contacted the Board of Elections, the North Carolina Board of Elections, and we got that overturned. So you have early voting rights for this primary because of citizen action and the advocacy that I took to step up to the plate. Now the questions were, what's your platform? What's good about Mount Airy? What's bad about Mount Airy? Well, we can't solve all the problems in less than 4 minutes, but I'm going to just run through some things. I fully support the development at Spencer's. It's a solid, world-class, public-private partnership that the mayor, the commissioners, and again, we don't always agree on things, but this is going to happen. It has to happen. Because if you're not changing, you're dying. You have to move ahead. We're having meetings about, redoing Main Street, making it a little bit friendlier for pedestrians and people in wheelchairs especially. You have to move forward. You cannot die. So, I want the best possible public services at the least possible cost. We have a $30 million budget, but your property taxes are only $15 million of that $30 million. And I want to continue to keep that $15 million low. We can do a little bit better and maybe get other fees and other grants to make that $15 million less that you are responsible for. Also, I don't stand in the way of progress. I want to build coalitions with all of our community. I want to advocate for more public-private partnerships. Yes, Mount Airy owns a lot of land, and we need to use some of that land for housing for young people because they can't afford to live here. Houses are being sold for Airbnbs. You have a house built in the 60s, great shape, no families are moving in, it's an Airbnb. Yeah, that person that owns it has the property rights to sell it, but I missed your 1 minute. Sorry. Well, anyway, website, zalesikformountairy.com. Thank you.
Thank you, South Ward candidates. If you'll take your seats back, we will now invite our at-large district candidates up. Our first candidate will be Deborah Cochran.
Thank you, and a big hello to our radio audience at home. Hi, I'm Deborah Cochran and want to be your next at-large city commissioner. You can have full confidence in my character. I have passed not one, but 2 extensive background checks, one for a teacher and one for my concealed carry. I obtained a bachelor's degree from Gardner-Webb University in Business Management, my teaching licensure from NC State University in Business and Information Technology. Since 2015, I've been employed at John F. Kennedy High School. I started out teaching business for 6 years. This year, I am the Career Development Coordinator, which consists of collaborating with businesses and coordinating career development opportunities for students and mentoring new teachers. Also taught part-time at Surrey Community College for 18 years, worked in radio broadcasting for decades, and over 40 years ago, sold tickets right here at this cinema. I bring history and experience, having served during the Great Recession as an at-large city commissioner and was elected to two-term mayor here in my hometown of Mount Airy, and attended UNC School of Government courses and ethics training in North Carolina. I will bring all the skills and depth of knowledge that I have acquired as a former at-large city commissioner, former mayor, and trainings from the UNC School of Government, and my experience teaching business. Experience matters. An elected official is a public servant. I have an expansive public service background. I believe in Christ, the hope of glory, and have been a lifelong member of the Salvation Army. While mayor, the board and I stood outside in January collecting money for the kerosene fund. I've flown to Florida to help hurricane victims, and this year at my school for the last 2 years, I was the United Way chair. And I have received numerous local, state, and national awards, including the one dearest to my heart, the Disabled American Veterans Award. I ran for this seat once again in 2007. My platform is consistent. My words match my actions. I have a solid record of proven conservative policies with government efficiencies and serving all citizens. Everybody talks about cutting taxes. We actually did it. We lowered property taxes 30% from 63 cents to 48 cents. I am pro-business and celebrate entrepreneurs. Our citizens need paychecks. As mayor, I flew to West Memphis to recruit a California-based industry to Mount Airy without subsidies. And currently, that business is one of our largest water users today. I want to be progressive in helping our business owners by working harder and also improve our core services that you, the citizens, are paying for. I fully support keeping citizens safe, which has always been a top priority of mine. Many businesses and residents are leaving other cities due to high crime rate. My vision is to continue to enhance the quality of life for our citizens. We're on the right path by holding on to the identity of being known as America's hometown. Mount Airy is a great place to live, work, raise a family, and retire. Our history, assets, traits, and culture distinguish us and are the reason why we're still a major tourist destination and people want to live here. Mount Airy has a strong resolve and strategically pivoted from once being the site of legacy textile manufacturing. Downtown historic mill buildings now house modern residents. Our downtown is thriving. Which ways are the city on the wrong path? There is far more right here than wrong. This is home. I could have chosen to live elsewhere. I'm a lifelong resident once again, and I want to concentrate on moving forward and making our community a better place to live and for business to thrive. And also, once again, my name is Deborah Cochran, and I want to be Mount Airy's next city commissioner. Thank you for the pleasure of your time, and thanks for coming out tonight.
Our next at-large candidate is Tanda Phillips.
Good evening, Mount Airy, friends and fellow candidates. My name is Tanda Phillips. I'm 44 years old and I've lived in Surrey County most of my life. I've been self-employed in insurance, real estate, and mortgages for over 20 years. I attended Surrey Community College and Gardner-Webb University. I currently serve on the board of directors for the Shepherd's House and Helping Hands of Surrey. I'm the president of the Rotary Club of Mount Airy and member of the Greater Mount Airy Chamber of Commerce. I've served on the boards of Habitat for Humanity, the Surrey Regional Association of Realtors, and volunteer with the American Red Cross Disaster Action Team. But above all these credentials, I'm a concerned Christian taxpayer and a loyal servant of this community. My vision for Mount Airy involves every citizen. We are all capable of more. We all can be more engaged in city operations and services. We all can take action to improve ourselves and our surroundings. We all can contribute in some way to the success and development of our town. We all can embrace necessary change and learn from our mistakes. I support most of the decisions that the current council has made. The Spencer's development, of course, is a source of hope for economic growth in downtown. The tax revenue projection from this renovation, along with long-term visitor spending, is encouraging to the city budget and could minimize tax increases for residents. The arts, the recreation, and entertainment sectors of our city have dramatically improved over the last 5 years. Old buildings have been refaced, landscape has been tastefully designed, and the walking trail has been extended. There are concept plans being studied that could widen our sidewalks, improve traffic patterns, and make parking more efficient. These are all great changes that have a positive impact on our local economy. We're headed in the right direction with these projects. However, there is always room for improvement. Our water and sewer lines need attention. It was discovered during the private development of the Spencer Lofts condominiums that the terracotta pipes heading down to Willow Street were crumbling. They are working on Willow Street currently, but our city has miles of this material under many streets. We are overdue for this maintenance. Another area of interest for me is affordable housing and homelessness. The current council has denied some opportunities that could have mitigated some of our housing problems. There are developers that see the need and have the resources to build and manage affordable homes. The city needs to let them build. The city should also support homeless shelters struggling to provide programs and resources to families and children. Problems like these can lead to bigger problems, like the drugs that infest our streets. Surry County ranked #1 per capita for opioid overdoses in 2018, and we continue to fight this crisis of addiction. This is a sad realization, but something we can change. My Rotary Club partnered with Surry County's Office of Substance Abuse and Recovery to focus on this problem. We've held seminars for business leaders, gone into schools with teams of people to direct our future leaders away from drugs. We've purchased deterra kits to safely dispose of prescription drugs, keeping them out of circulation, and this is just the beginning. We all can do more. The $9 million drug company litigation settlement that was awarded to Surry County can help us fight this battle. Our police and fire staff work hard reacting to these problems daily, bringing me to my next point, public safety. These departments are understaffed and underpaid. I want to encourage the new city manager to devise a plan to improve logistics like equipment, technology, retention, morale, and pay. Well-rested, balanced employees produce better results. They should not have to work multiple jobs to live middle-class lives. Sometimes trying to save money ends up costing more in the long run. I say let's address these issues to create a healthier, happier Mount Airy. Let's listen, motivate, and engage, because we all can. Thank you.
And our final candidate of the evening is Steve Yoakley.
I'm Steve Yoakley. I have been a Mount Airy City Commissioner for the past 12 years and have been dedicated and very hardworking. I am not running against anything or anybody. Rather, I am running for the opportunity to continue to help make Mount Airy an even better place to live, work, and play. I am not a dynamic or a charismatic speaker, but I am a doer who is always positive, who is a good listener, an analytical thinker, and a planner. I always try to do the right thing and work tirelessly to get it done. I grew up in Winston-Salem. I earned a BS and DDS degrees from the University of North Carolina. I was in the U.S. Navy Reserve for 21 years, achieving the rank of Lieutenant Commander. As a part of this service, I was on active duty for 2 years at the Naval Air Station in Pensacola, Florida, which is the only time that I have lived outside of North Carolina. I have been, and I was a general dentist for 33 years until 2005. Since then, I have been a successful real estate broker. My community involvement experiences are many, including being an elder in the First Presbyterian Church, being a member of the Mount Airy Rotary Club, and more recently, the Sunrise Rotary Club. I am also a financial supporter of several other local nonprofit organizations. I am very lucky to be happily married to Ann. I have 1 daughter and an 11-year-old grandson. I'm an avid walker on the Granite City Greenway. I also enjoy traveling to other states and countries. However, I have never found, nor do I expect to find, a better place to visit or live than Mount Airy. It is always a pleasure to be able to return to such a wonderful place. However, what is most important for you to know about me tonight is what I have done while I have served as City Commissioner over the last 12 years and what I want to continue to do for the next 2 years. I know the importance of looking for outside sources of revenue for grants, increasing our sales tax income, specifically from tourists and visitors, keeping our tax rate as low as possible, and making sure that everyone has a bright future. In these trying times, we all must make extra efforts to support our fire and police departments. A safe environment for residents, business owners, and visitors is essential to keep the Mount Airy the wonderful place that it is. Some ways in which we need to improve our overall efforts are in the maintenance of our city buildings, upgrading our wastewater treatment plant, fast-tracking the replacement of aging water and sewer lines, repaving our streets, and upgrading our parks and recreation facilities. It is essential that we keep and improve our current and wanted and needed city services, including outstanding trash and recycling pickup, brush and leaf collection, and large item pickup. I have been and will remain a consistently positive voice for making Mount Airy an even better place for everyone. I have been a tireless supporter of Market Street and trying to get new uses for the Spencer's property, which should include a downtown hotel. I will continue to work toward that goal. We are so close now to having the downtown projects that will improve the quality of life for every person who lives in Mount Airy and for those who are lucky enough to move here in the future. We must maintain a positive vision for that future, maintain our current course, and get across the finish line at Spencer's. I know the difference in spending and investing for future profit and success. Investing in redevelopment and improvements in all areas of our downtown will reap great long-range benefits, will increase revenues, and will help keep our property taxes lower. We also must support the tremendous asset that we have in our city employees who do everything that is asked of them. When elected, I will continue to work toward an even better Mount Airy to ensure that it remains a fantastic place for all of us to live, work, and play.
Thank you, candidates. That really went well. There'll be a meet and greet at Uncorked immediately after this. I think all the candidates will plan on being there, where you can meet them, ask them specific questions. There'll be food provided by State of Grays, and I hope to see everyone there, but we will adjourn from here to there. Thank you, everyone, for attending.